A few months back, Jesse Marsh, now the Canadian men's national team coach, questioned the fact that the United States men's national team had no signature wins under Greg Berhalter. Fast forward a few months, and now Berhalter's job is at risk, as failing to defeat Uruguay this Monday might mean the United States gets grouped in the Copa America and Berhalter fired. Only a signature win can save Berhalter's job and the United States men's national team from an embarrassing group stage exit in the Copa America that we are hosting. So today, we are going to do a full match preview for this very dramatic game that we have on Monday. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to the United States versus Uruguay Copa America match preview. This is how it's gonna go. First, we will go through when and where to watch this game, the record between both national teams. After that, I will dive into any current updates on the United States men's national team, projected starting 11s, the current situation of Group C, essentially what results the United States needs to advance, and lastly, I will dive into Uruguay and their current situation. Oh, and towards the end of this video, I have a special question for you, so if you make it that far, you're gonna answer to it in the comment section down below, so stay tuned, I guess. And understand that soccer is a crazy sport. It is unpredictable, and the unpredictable does and can happen. I'm not optimistic for this game by any means, but let's try to believe that the United States can advance, and honestly, there is a realistic shot. Make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already, and let me know in the comment section down below, do you think the United States will advance to the quarterfinals of the Copa America? Yes or no? Roll the episode. The United States men's national team is set to face Uruguay this Monday, July 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern Time in Kansas City. This game will be played at the Arrowhead Stadium, and if you are in the United States of America, you may watch this match on Fox Sports 1, Univision, or Today Any. And of course, we will be doing a live watch along here on YouTube at Tactical Manager TV, and feel free to join us. We will suffer together, feel pain together, and we will enjoy it together. Man, that was creepy. Throughout history, the United States and Uruguay have faced each other 7 times, and the record is actually quite surprising, with a slight advantage for the United States of America, which is pretty crazy if you ask me, for the US to have a positive record against such a legendary national team like Uruguay. I mean, they have won 2 World Cups, they also have 15 Copa America trophies, which is tied with Argentina for the most titles. Even though half of those titles from Copa America and the World Cup were all prior to World War II, and a few others were like a couple years after. So it's been a while. If you're from Brazil, Uruguay's like Botafogo. But back to the record between both national teams, the United States has won 2 games, Uruguay has won 1 all the way back in the 1993 Copa America, and then both teams have tied 4 times. The last time both national teams faced each other was in the summer of 2022, a friendly played in the United States of America that ended in a 0-0 draw. But trust me, Uruguay is far better now under Bielsa than they were in 2022. Okay, now let's talk about any news and updates on the US men's national team for this game. Weston McKennie, Anthony Robinson, and Chris Richards are all on a yellow, and if they do get a yellow card during the game against Uruguay, they will be suspended for our next match, if we have one. Okay, I'm assuming we will advance. If we do advance and any of those 3 players gets a yellow card, they will be suspended. As for Tim Weah, he is actually suspended for this game against Uruguay. He got a stupid red card against Panama and he won't be available. As for Matt Turner, at the time of this recording, he is questionable. He was subbed out early against Panama due to an injury, so we don't know his status as of now. Now let's try to predict Greg Berhalter's starting 11 to face Uruguay. As I always say, he will probably go with a 4-3-3. It's Berhalter, and that's essentially all he knows. Ethan Horvath will likely be the goalkeeper, considering Matt Turner might be injured. The right back will probably be Joe Scally, and honestly, Joe Scally actually played well against Panama. The left back will be Anthony Robinson. The 2 center backs are still expected to be Chris Richards and Tim Ream, and then the central defensive midfielder will probably be Tyler Adams. on a minutes restriction. He'll probably play 45 minutes, 60 at most. The two midfielders will probably be Weston McKennie and Giovanni Reyna. And honestly, Weston McKennie should probably be benched at this point for Yunus Musa or Johnny. He has been terrible on the field for the United States, but I already said that in multiple videos in the past. It should be probably Tyler and then Musa and Gio, or Tyler, Johnny, and Gio. Probably I'll go with Tyler and Johnny this game because Uruguay is a much tougher opponent, but enough of that right now. The wingers is kind of tricky, but knowing Greg Berhalter, he'll probably go with Brendan Aronson on the right wing and Christian Pulisic on the left wing. Remember, Tim Weah is not available. Other options he would have would probably be like Haji Wright on the wing, but I think he's going to go with Aronson. And then up top, it has to be Floating Balogun, and Balogun will be starting as our center forward. He was our best player against Panama. And understand that I'm not going to go through what I would do because it doesn't really matter, and I also don't feel like doing it, but trust me, McKennie and Aronson would not be in my starting 11 for this game. Believe me. And now let's move on and talk about the current situation of Group C. What does the United States need to advance? And here's the current situation of Group C. Uruguay has 6 points and a goal differential of +7. The United States has 3 points and a goal differential of +1, while Panama has 3 points as well, but a goal differential of -1. Bolivia is in last place with 0 points. All 4 teams can technically still advance, even though Bolivia is kind of out already, but it's pretty much the United States and Panama battling out for the second seed. Could Uruguay still get eliminated? Sure, it's very unlikely. But again, let's go through the situations and what results can get the United States through. So if the United States wins and defeats Uruguay, we need Panama to not win or to keep the goal differential in our favor. So if we win, and that's a big if, it'll likely be by 1 goal. For the sake of this video, let's assume that if we win, it'll be like 1-0 or 2-1. I don't see us, if we do defeat Uruguay, I don't see it being super dominant, like 2-3-0. It'll be like a 1 goal differential. In that case, we must hope that Panama does not beat the almighty Bolivia by 3-0 or more. If they do, we are out on goal differential. So if we beat Uruguay 2-1 or 1-0, but Panama defeats Bolivia 3-0 or more, the United States would be eliminated with 6 points. Now, if the US and Uruguay tie, which is very possible, let's say they tie by any result, then we need Panama to not beat Bolivia. If Panama ties or loses to Bolivia, the United States will go through. Now, if the US loses to Uruguay, then we have to hope that Bolivia beats Panama. You know, the same Bolivian team that is on a 12-game losing streak in the Copa America and has won 1 game in the past 9 editions. Yes, if we lose to Uruguay, we have to rely on Bolivia defeating Panama. Bolivia. I'll tell you one thing. If you depend on Bolivia to get a win for anything in your life, you're screwed. So what's my conclusion here? If we beat Uruguay, the odds of advancing are very high. Panama will struggle to score against Bolivia because they won't have Carrasquilla, but they should be able to defeat them. So I believe Panama will get the win. I just don't think it'll be a 3 or 4-0 win. Probably like a 1 or 2-0 win, especially when you don't have your best player, Carrasquilla, that can make things happen. If we do tie against Uruguay, we're most likely out. As I said, I expect Panama to defeat Bolivia. If we lose, oh, then it's over. It's completely over because then Panama would just need a draw. Okay, so if we don't get out of the group, if we don't win, we're probably not going to get out of the group. And if we don't win, Berhalter should resign, but we'll talk more about that later. Before we continue, don't forget to drop a like in this video, and we're going to put a quick word from our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Otherwise, rent will be late this week, and I don't want rent to be late. And we'll be back in 1 minute to talk about Uruguay. Underdog Fantasy is a fun game to play prior to any soccer match, or basketball, football as well. You know, it just adds an extra excitement to the game. And this summer, I will be playing Underdog Fantasy during the Copa America and Euros. You can download the app by using the link in the description of this video and use the promo code TMTV. Yes, please, don't forget to use the code. And let me tell you why. Sign up with the code TMTV to claim your special pick plus a first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. The game I mainly play is called Pick'em. I just Click on it, scroll to the soccer section, and pick a player for the specific match and select the stats that I believe will be lower or higher. It's very easy to play, but be smart about it because it's not that easy to win. I'll also be playing some underdog fantasy during some match live streams during the Copa America and Olympics, posting my picks on X and Instagram, so you must stay tuned for that as well. And once again, I'm a professional hater, so usually I pick anything that will have me rooting for the downfall of that player. With that said, once again, thank you Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the channel. The link to play is in the description of this video, and the promo code once again is TMTV. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy. Now let's talk about our opponent, Uruguay. And they arrived in the last round pretty much qualified, but not officially qualified due to their goal differential. Like, the US could still hit 6 points, and so could Panama. Let's say they lose 4-0 to the United States, they could get eliminated. It would just depend on how many goals Panama beats Bolivia. It would have to be a lot. So many are saying that Bielsa could rest some of the players since they're pretty much qualified, or that the players might not care. And I don't know, man, Bielsa is a bit of a psychopath. He was like angry while Uruguay was defeating Bolivia 5-0. And sure, he might rest a few key players, but that man will not let the players not care. He will absolutely not let the level drop. Uruguay defeated Panama 3-1 in the first round. Goals scored by Max Araujo, Darwin Núñez, and Matias Vinha. For the second game, they defeated Bolivia 5-0. All 5 goals were scored by different players. They do not rely on one player to score. Plus, if you relied only on Darwin Núñez to score, you would be screwed. He's a great player, but truly he's a hit or miss every single game. So just to make one thing clear, I think Bielsa will rest a few key players. Maybe they'll come in the second half, it's possible, but he will 100% not let this team get complacent. Plus, Uruguay's reserves are pretty damn good. They still have players like Jimenez and Cáceres on the back line. They have Luis Suarez that can play up top, Canobio, Arrascaeta, Betancourt. On top of that, I doubt that he will rest the entire starting 11. But of course, if he does rest players like Valverde and Ugarte, that will help the United States men's national team quite a bit. So can we win? Can the US pull a win? Sure, it's possible. Anything can happen in a one-off match. But based on what we've seen from Uruguay and the United States, what will be key for the US to pull a result or pull a signature win? And you know what? The first thing is luck. They are a better team and luck will be a factor. However, we must put ourselves in a position to get lucky. So the first thing I would say is don't play out of the back. Uruguay's press is very well organized by Bielsa, and the United States will not be able to play out of the back if we try, so just go long. There is no other way. If we want to win, we have to play ugly soccer. This is a game that we have to be soccer terrorists and not, use that stupid possession-based system that Greg Berhalter wants us to play out of the back. And I use this as an example, and I'll say it again. When Panama played Uruguay and they were trying to play out of the back in the first half, it was terrible. Uruguay completely dominated them, created multiple goal-scoring opportunities. In the second half, Panama adjusted, and they realized they couldn't break the press that Uruguay was trying to implement on them. And it kind of worked. Panama had a good game against Uruguay in the second half. So if we try to play out of the back, especially with our team that has terrible giveaways, Ethan Horvath or Turner, whoever plays on goal, is bad on the ball with his feet. Chris Richards has had some pretty bad giveaways. Tyler Adams is not brilliant on the ball. If we try to play out of the back, we're screwed. Also, we need to understand that Uruguay is very direct. They have a lot of verticality. They like to press and create chaos. That very often leaves a lot of space in behind. We have to be dangerous on the counterattack. That has to be the plan. Be quick. Be fast, and as Berhalter loves to say, have a ton of verticality. Even though the United States men's national team under Berhalter has no verticality at all. We are one of those teams that very often has a lot of possession and no penetration, no verticality, which is just masturbation. And I want to add this, that Panama actually exposed that a bit during the second half against Uruguay, that you can strike them in transition. Now, last but not least, our mentality, the mindset has to be right. We have to be smart. If the game is getting too chaotic, fall. Waste some time. Calm things down. Uruguay thrives on chaos. We want to be direct and take advantage of that, but don't let the game get out of control. It can get ugly for us, not them. Know when to slow down the game. Know when to change the tempo. All of that matters, especially when you're playing like a team like Uruguay. We need to get that right. And you know what? There is one thing that us US men's national team fans should be thankful for. And that is that we are playing Uruguay in the last game of the group stage while they already have 6 points and a large goal differential. That does increase our odds a bit. If the United States pulls a win and goes through, this will be the biggest win ever for Greg Berhalter in charge of the United States men's national team. Even if Uruguay does not play their best players, that could be debatable, I guess, whether or not this is a signature win. But, you know, due to the quality of the opponent, the coach that they have, Marcelo Bielsa, he's brilliant, and the pressure coming into this game, I think it should be considered a signature win if we win. And obviously, a lot of the judgment will come after that in the quarterfinals if we advance. Now, we are at a stage that, you know, results are what matters. Win. Get to the quarterfinals, and in the quarterfinals, find a way to win, even if it's on penalty kicks. What matters this Monday is the result. Pull a win, even if it's just 1-0. That's all that matters. And if we fail to get out of our group, even if he pulls a draw against Uruguay and we are eliminated in the group stage, we get grouped at home in the Copa America, that will be more evidence that Berhalter is not the right guy for 2026. And regardless of what the Federation thinks, whether they want to keep him or not, Greg Berhalter has to take responsibility. He has to also man up and resign. If the Federation won't fire him after getting grouped, Berhalter himself should resign. Okay, you made it this far in the video. Don't forget to drop the like. And now, here's my question to you. Let's say the United States plays Uruguay's reserves on Monday, and we beat them 1-0. And then Panama defeats Bolivia 2-0, and we advance to the quarterfinals. Okay, job done, mission accomplished. And then we play Colombia in the quarterfinals, and we lose 2 or 3-0. They completely dominate us. It's not as bad as the friendly, but we lose to Colombia. Would you consider this a successful tournament? In my opinion, no. So we could pull the result on Monday, but don't let that overshadow the results that come after that. Beating Uruguay is key right now, and that's what the team should be focused on. But beating Uruguay and getting trashed in the next round means nothing. It will mean it was an unsuccessful tournament. Getting out of the group should be the ultimate bare minimum. So that's my question to you. If we beat Uruguay on Monday 1-0 and then we get trashed by Colombia, would you consider this a successful tournament? I personally would not. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I will not telling you my prediction for this game between Uruguay and the US because I don't know the lineup that Uruguay will put out, and I also don't like picking the United States losing or getting eliminated, and I won't do that, so I'm not going to be posting my prediction for this game. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Thank you everyone that joined our Patreon. Thank you Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. If you want to play Underdog, the link is in the description, and the link to join our Patreon is also in the link of this description. And I want to thank you all very much for watching, and have a great day.